This is one of our favorite nights of the year as we get to recognize the wonderful students of the Brentwood School District. We're going to start off. We've got, since it would be a late night for our early childhood kiddos, we've got a little video to recognize them to start off the evening. Let's start this evening. We have, let's start with our Mark Twain principal, Mrs. Easterbrook, to recognize your students.
Good evening. Thank you all so much for coming tonight to recognize the students from Mark Twain Elementary. This evening I'm very honored to share two amazing student groups that have worked very hard all year to give back to their communities. Mark Twain is a leader in me school with a mission to empower all of our students to use their gifts and talents for the greater good of their community. In our leadership cadet groups, our students work with one another in a service area that they are passionate about. And here this evening, exemplifying great leadership and empathy for people and animals in need, we have two separate groups, are helping people in need get what they need. And we have our group of caring for animals this evening. So the group helping people in need, they have held successful drives this year to collect items such as Band-Aids, hand sanitizers, bottles of water, snacks, and more. And they've created 48 care packages that have been delivered to the Dogtown Little Free Pantry. They've also collected clothing and donated to Feed My People. They collected gently used shoes for Souls for Souls. They're currently in a collection for tabs for Ronald McDonald House, and we have a Tabapalooza on May the 6th. And they're making blankets to distribute to the St. Patrick's Center. So this group has been extremely busy. Join me in recognizing and thanking the following students for their hard work and service to their community. When I call your names, Please come up for your certificates and then stay up here for a picture. Bram Auer. Althea Lawson. We have Theo Schmalz in this group. Azan Hussein. Macy Luntz. Josh Gianetto. Frankie Consaroli. And Mimi Jordan. This group is also led by our amazing second grade teacher, Miss Amber Walkenbach. Our second group of students has shared their passion to care for animals in our area and ensure that they have the items necessary to be taken care of while they're awaiting a good home. These students have planned, advertised, and executed a successful drive to collect animal supplies that were donated to the APA. They're currently making cat houses and handmade dog toys to donate. And be on the lookout for an upcoming Spirit Day donation effort to collect monies that they will donate to the animal shelters. Please join me in recognizing and showing our gratitude to these students. Again, when I call your name, please come up for your certificates and then remain for a photo. Kian Burke. Abraham Ruppel. Rowan Effen. Millie Davenport. Isaiah Woods. Diego Clay. Adi Kanal. Isla Harris. Yuki Vicaria. And Leo Mendez. And this group is led by our amazing third grade teacher, Miss Stacy Lampersick.
Thank you, Mark Twain. Now can we have Dr. Noy for McGrath, please?
Hello. At McGrath, one of the things that we pride ourselves in is how we treat others. And I'm really proud of these 4 leaders that I have to present to you tonight. They are showing the McGrath way, which is kindness and caring. First up, Peter Spall. Peter's been a... Peter has been a leader and an may have lost voice in society. Peter and his classmates have advocated to have a special day for a student who has a physical disability at McGrath. The students celebrate and believe the day that this student walked for the first time across the cafeteria without his wheelchair. And that happened in first grade. And Peter is now in fourth grade. Each year, he meets new milestones that student does. The beauty of the assembly that Peter helps to advocate for is that we have for the student is that it is created and led totally by students. Peter consistently is at the forefront to support the student and is always calling him his friend. So please help me honor Peter Spall. And as always, Peter has a sense of style. The next student I'd like to introduce is Michael Challen. So Michael is also at the forefront of our special all-school assembly to celebrate our special student and his accomplishments. This year, I watched as our very special fourth grader, Yusa, came to walk from one end of the gym to Michael and Peter at the other end. And you could hear a pin drop. What an amazing moment. But Michael's unique style of care for others doesn't just stop there. He is one of the most helpful students in the building. I watch as he leads friends to help our special student get on the playground equipment. One day, I was at a bonus recess and watched Michael rearrange all the students on a new playground feature at McGrath. We love to call it the spinny thing, so that his special friend could get on safely and get his self situated so he wouldn't fall off. So he also helped him to access the accessible slide. Then, just like any fourth grade friend, he said, okay, I'm gonna go play tag, I'll be back a little later. This is a unique modeling of acceptance and true friendship. Michael spreads this kind of positivity every day. Please help me. So at McGrath, we had a special after-school club led by Dr. Noy, and it was girls who code. And these next two young ladies I'd like to introduce to you really stood out. First up, Ada Gross. Ada is unique and creative. When in the after-school club on coding, she showed off her creativity and unique brand of humor by coding games and projects that were beyond what would have been anticipated for the average observer. I watched her create bouncy things, slidey things, and spinny things twice a week. They often brought a smile to my face and joy to my heart. I will say this, watch this young lady. She will make big things happen in the world. And finally, Zainab Ince. Zeta was in my coding club as well. She became first the assistant, then the executive assistant, then the expert of the club. I was only there to supervise and watch in awe. Quickly, she learned the coding programs and was taught by all the coders in the club to teach them how to make the letters in their names bounce and dance, how to create Pong games, or how to make a full action scene occur with just one click. My favorite quote from Zainab was when we made a video to share all of our learning. And here's what she said. We can make different worlds with coding. Girls can make their own world. She understands that she does not need someone to create her success. She can make it happen on her own.
Representing Brentwood Middle School tonight, we have our teachers. We have Libby Wilson, Sarah Piper, and Emily Williamson coming up.
Good evening, members of the board and guests. It is our great honor to have an opportunity to thank and recognize these wonderful middle school students. They make our school a better place. Their hard work and commitment to excellence in academics and character is just amazing. We would first like to recognize Sarah Paul and Charlotte White. Our project Lead the Way curriculum introduces students to concepts in the STEM area of science, technology, engineering, and math. All 6th and 7th grade students take PLTW courses, and 7th and 8th grade students have additional opportunities to enroll in these high-interest classes. This winter, students built robotic vehicles that incorporated principles of technology, engineering, electronics, and of course, robotics. Students then raced their creations during an all-school assembly. Sarah and Charlotte's robot won, which was a testament to their hard work and ingenuity. Congratulations, Sarah and Charlotte. GPA in her 8th grade coursework and always being prepared for class. Mirab is consistently respectful and kind to all members of our school community. One of the many things her teachers have noticed is that Mirab brings to our school is a willingness to help students, to help others to understand academic concepts. She does this without being prompted or asked. She has a genuine drive to help her classmates to succeed, and she is willing to support all of her classmates without exception. Brentwood Middle School is a better place because of Mary Fatima's efforts as a student, as a member of the yearbook staff, as an understanding friend, and as a shining example of what a student can achieve, and as a kind, patient, and dedicated scholar.
Thank you, Dr. Lang, members of the board, good evening to our guests. It is now that time where we begin to start shining a spotlight on our seniors because it's only a month left and we only have so much time with them. So I'm going to celebrate a couple of students, but please know that we're going to celebrate them in a couple of different categories than we've ever had before. And I will say, before I call these students up, all of these students are like triple threats. So if I call them up for character, I'm telling you they are strong in academics, character, and service, okay? So just know that about all of our students that I bring forth. So the first student is not here this evening, but I hope she can hear me from wherever she's at, okay? We would like to shine a spotlight on Dominique Taylor for being our outstanding volunteer interdistrict choice corporation student. Brentwood is honored to have Dominique as our outstanding graduate. She's been a part of the big program ever since she was in the kindergarten. Dominique has had an extensive list of accomplishments in her 4 years at BHS. She's an exceptional student who has been very active in her participation at Brentwood High School. She's participated in several extracurricular activities and sports and has also led service and mentor projects. While balancing her commitment to the classroom, Dominique has challenged herself with a college prep curriculum, including taking our highest level advanced college credit courses, and using her academic strengths to give back to our Brentwood community in a multitude of ways. We are so proud of Dominique Taylor, and we want to congratulate her on being named our BHS 2023 Outstanding Big Graduate from Brentwood High School. There is a middle school teacher who is going to be so happy about where Dominique is going to be attending school in the fall. Dominique is going to be attending Kansas University. She's identifying herself in the audience. Yeah, Dominique's going to study business administration, so we're really proud of her. The next group of students we want to shine the spotlight on are students who we recognize for having outstanding character and have positively influenced our school. At BHS, we appreciate good students who can work in a group, motivate others, and yield productive output. In addition, being positive, helpful, cooperative, and friendly are all traits of students that we recognize for having outstanding character. Students with these attributes serve as wonderful examples in our school community and role models for our younger students. I, on behalf of BHS, would like to call on 3 students to be recognized by the board as students with outstanding character and exceptional leaders by example who will significantly contribute to society, life after BHS. If the following students can please come forward. Antoinette Willis. We're just going to kind of hang out here. Okay? Next student, Nina Simone Archie. And Fort Mandy, not when you're the principal, you can do whatever you want. Right? So she's got to accept this one. And then the next young man, Kyron Lane, who I wish was here this evening. Kyron is just an exceptional young man and just kind-hearted, again, young man. And so I wish he was here tonight, but we also wanted to recognize Kyron Lane as well. Okay? So for our next spotlight, we turn our attention to outstanding student service. So our Brentwood National Honor Society chapter has established service as one of our essential pillars out of the 4. Each member of NHS strives to provide service to the surrounding communities in order to benefit those around them, which is a necessity in society today. Service is not just to satisfy a requirement set by NHS or for college applications. Service is to help others by reaching out and offering a value that can only be recovered within people in our society. VHS wants to acknowledge NHS officer Amelia Van Allen. Amelia, Amelia's played an instrumental role in planning service projects, organizing members for projects, and participating in service projects herself for NHS. When VHS hosts events, Amelia is always the student that you can count on being present, lending a helping hand, and tonight we want to appreciate her for all she's done for VHS. Tonight we honor Amelia for her commitment to service, but Amelia is also an outstanding student athlete as well. Okay? Amelia Van Allen, everyone. So this last one's kind of a new one. It's a cool one, okay? Because we have recognized outstanding student advocacy on one of our VHS seniors. So this is the first time we've done this, so this is quite the moment, okay? We envision a world in which every person lives with dignity, freedom, justice, equality, and peace. We believe that every person plays a part in building respect for human rights and expanding their human rights movement in the United States and around the world. This senior student that I'm about to call forward is a wonderful example of a passionate student advocate that has been observed as an advocate for her friends and has set as her post-secondary goal to pursue a career that would allow her to continue to advocate for human rights. She will, for sure, make a positive difference in the lives of others. So tonight, we are going to honor Ana Sanchez. Seniors, they've been working for 4 years. They've worked up for this moment where they get to announce their plans in the fall for next year. So we'll start with Anna.
I will be attending Loyola University of Chicago and majoring in social work.
In June, I will be attending Abbott EMS, working as an EMT, and going to their paramedic course to become a paramedic.
I can't call her PG because she'd get upset with me. That's short for point guard. Nina?
I will be attending USC in California, and I will be majoring in biology.
Last but certainly not least, Amelia.
I will either be attending WashU or the University of Michigan Institute of Development, and I'm going to be majoring in political science.
We would like to take this opportunity and also highlight a program that we have at the high school. This is the Catalyst program. We're going to start off with a video, and then we're going to call up our teacher for that program for just a moment to recognize her work.
CATLS is part of the CAPS program, which is the Center for Advanced Professional Studies. It's a nationwide program. We provide kids with an opportunity to have an out-of-the-classroom type of learning experience.
Our goal is to give our student associates the most hands-on learning experience as possible. So rather than learning in theory, which we do mostly at our home schools and our regular classes, We want to connect them with professionals that actually do the things that we've learned about.
Traditional classes, people are always saying, like, when am I going to use all this math and algebra in the real world? Catalyst, it's exactly the opposite of that, because you're getting real world, hands-on experience. You know, it's not something where I'm studying for later in life. It's something I'm really working on right now.
Our student associates are able to choose what kind of learning experience they want to have for the school year. That could be working as an intern during our class time. That could be partnering with a local business and creating a project for them. That could also be launching their own business.
When I'm interested in it, I really want to learn more and I want to like dive deeper into it, and I can see how I'm going to use it in my real life, and knowing that I already have this leg up against other people who also want to go into the industry. When you have the options, you then like are able to expand your horizons so much more.
It's been so powerful to see our students get to pick and choose what they want to learn, and it really motivates them. And so I don't feel like at any point are we having to say, hey, make sure you're working on this particular project, make sure you're doing what you need to be doing. They're self-driven, and so we want to give them experiences to connect with professionals, to learn what's out there, and hopefully make some really cool educated decisions way earlier in their career.
We do count even those examples of a time when a kid finds something and they say, this is not for me, as a win. We can save time and money for students if they know that that's not something that they want to go into. It's also really cool when the experience takes them in a way that they weren't expecting.
With the Catalyst, you're going to get, I think, the most unique learning experience that you can get at the high school level. You're going to have things that happen to you as far as meeting with professionals, building your network, launching a business, having an internship, all things you do not do in a regular classroom setting. If you want to do something that's unique and jumps the shark and isn't like going to school, then Catalyst is for you.
Mrs. Tillis, would you come up? So the Catalyst program, 4 years ago, we went into a consortium with the Ladue and Clayton school districts with the idea that we wanted to be matching our high school seniors to career opportunities where they could go out in the field, serve in internships, work on actual projects for businesses, and as mentioned in the video, perhaps find your passion or perhaps steer away from a particular field and maybe save your parents some years of college tuition in that particular field. Anything that you'd like to add on, because you've done some wonderful work since your time in the district.
I'm just really excited to be a part of Catalyst. It's a great opportunity that I hope even those of you with little kids can see your kids growing into someday. We went just down the road just today to K Hall, and I've driven past this business day after day, heading over to Catalyst, and our kids were able to tour and talk with the owners. So we really do get them out in the community. You might have noticed we didn't really hit on it a lot in the video, but once a month we go together and serve in the community. So it's just a fun experience. Kids are really, as Justin said, self-driven. I had a student who was out because of surgery, and he came back and I was like, have you been able to work on anything? And he had a whole bunch of stuff done and built the website. So it's really cool to see what kids can do when they put their minds to it.
Can we mention Adrian's recent award that he just received?
Yes, you might have seen it somewhere along the way already, but Adrian Sabay is our student from Brentwood who's just really excelled this year. He had the opportunity to pitch an idea to some angel investors. He's the one that I was mentioning, that website. He developed it while he was even home recovering from a surgery, and he just kind of dove headfirst into this. He pitched his idea for his dropshipping business and was granted a $1,000 grant to pursue that. So that'll help him over the next 6 months to get that going, and we're excited to see what he accomplishes there.
All right, thank you for being here tonight.
Quick question. When is it offered to kids in junior and senior year of high school?
Yes.
Okay. I actually went to an open house there. It's awesome. The kids would go into doctor's offices, they'd work in physician offices. It was a really neat opportunity. So as your kids are growing up in the district, and if it's something that you think they would be interested in, I would highly recommend going to the open house and learning more. It was pretty amazing.
All right. Thank you for that. Last but not least, we also want to recognize our own Chris Perkins tonight. Chris has served on the board the last 3 years, and tonight's his last board meeting. He's done a wonderful job for us, served on multiple committees, and has really been so valuable, and we appreciate everything Chris brings to the table. Board members, anything you want to add?
Don't say that. Not in public, Chris.
Okay, Chris, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
We'll miss you.
We'll see you at the pool.
All right, as always, that was a lot of fun to see the wonderful students of the Brentwood School District and recognize them. So you can stick around for the rest of the meeting, or you can go to Andy's Custard. We're going to leave it up to the families, but thank you so much for being here.
The middle school principal is over by Ms. Piper and the students. The new middle school principal. That's Wayne.
Yeah, those were all like nuts. Yeah, he was totally dead. I figured he was somewhere like sprinkled in the crowd. Dude, what'd you get? Middleton, 9 years. A cocktail? I didn't get money for it.
Sometimes it's been a picture frame, for the mug. Sometimes it's been like a picture made or a picture made.
Rich got ripped out a little bit, or you gotta go something.
I'm gonna go open it with Melissa on the way home.
We're gonna open it where?
I'm gonna stop by Melissa's house on the way home and open it on the front porch while we have a meeting.
With Melissa? You're supposed to do it with current board members so we can say, like, hey, thanks. That's what's up with that. He looks for sure.
Who, Charlie?
That's Paul.
Yeah.
He pulls that off well.
He does.
See ya.
Do you think as part of this lease we can get him to fix the AC in here? It's so hot.
Yeah.
They're on the hook for it. I know, that's what I'm saying. Our landlord.
They're on the hook.
That's what they do for a living. I know. Well, once we get the new lease in place on July 1, we need to make sure they're covering everything, that they actually maybe get the air conditioner working. Once they pick it up, then you just crank it down.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, okay, that's fine. I just. Literally. Yeah. Feels like a little toasty. That's the problem with this time of year when it goes like.
You can just not hot.
Can't regulate it. Yeah. No, I'm saying it was freezing this weekend. It was Sunday. Oh, no. It's supposed to be cold again this weekend.
Is it?
All right. I've been locked out of my computer, so I'm not right.
You want this?
Citizens comments.
Lindsay, you want this one? I'm not gonna need it.
All right, so this brings us to citizens' comments. And And so we are now in the scheduled time on our agenda for public comments. The Board of Education wishes to hear your thoughts and concerns. All speakers must have signed in with their address and contact information. Speakers may speak for up to 3 minutes. Although the board may ask clarifying questions, please be reminded the board cannot respond directly to any questions or comments made this evening. The president shall have the authority to request that the superintendent ensure that the appropriate staff member follow up with the individual regarding information or concern presented during public comment. So we have one person signed up for public comment this evening, Angela Odlum. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you can come right up here, would be great.
Hello, my name is Angela Olbum. Previously, I communicated to the board in 2022 regarding my request that an armed resource officer be present on each campus in this Brentwood School District. I kind of gave up on that at the time. I figured my daughter is only 1 year old. I wasn't satisfied with the response I got regarding what the school's plans were regarding that request, but I gave up figuring my daughter was pretty young and I had a ways to go. She's now scheduled to be enrolled in the Early Childhood Center in August, so I figure I have no other choice but to come before the board. I'll preface this that I am a municipal attorney, so I am very familiar with how budgeting works for school districts and municipalities, as that is my specialty, so I understand how budget allocations are done. And I come to beg you to consider having an armed resource officer present on each campus in the city of Brentwood. Maybe that has changed since I first reached out to the board in 2022. My understanding it has not. I think we should look at what happened in Nashville. Recently, I was at the City of St. Anne Board of Aldermen meeting. I see the training that their police officers are going through. I saw footage that's not widely available to the public of what happened when the perpetrator was taken down by their police force. And I want to say, not only do minutes count, seconds count, milliseconds count, and we need to consider, we live in a school district where there is lots of money compared to other school districts, and we need to consider putting an armed resource officer or somebody on each campus to protect our children, because without that, what does all this matter that we did earlier today if we don't protect those students? So I'm coming to every meeting I can until we kind of think about doing something like this, because one resource officer, what if it's Brentwood that it happens in? And then all of our lives are changed for the worse. Thank you so much, and I'll keep seeing you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if we could have roll call, please, Kate.
Jamie Allen,
Here.
Ryan Flynn,
Here.
Chris Perkins,
Here.
Keith Ravenberg,
Here.
Keith Slaughter,
Here.
Lindsey Spencer,
Here.
Jerry Foster.
Here.
Next order of business, I guess, the reorg.
Reorganization board, yes.
I move that we accept Mr. Keith Ravenberg, Ms. Lindsay Spencer, and Mr. Ryan Dodson as members of the Board of Education.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're supposed to dissolve the first board? No.
No.
Okay. All right, so secretary, Chris, will do the oath of office. Okay. So Ryan, you can come, we're gonna,
Can you tell me I only do this once a year?
I'm asking Greg. We have a new protocol too, so we can
Am I coming down
document
there?
it.
Where'd you like me?
Chris, you gotta get out of the picture. You're not,
Got
you
it.
gotta this.
Yeah.
Okay. Raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of school director
discharge the duties of school director
in and for the Brentwood School District,
in and for the Brentwood School District,
County of St. Louis, State of Missouri,
County of St. Louis, State of Missouri,
to the best of my ability according to law.
to the best of my ability according to law. Thank you.
Congrats.
Congrats. I move that the the current board adjourns.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Chris?
Bye, Chris.
Later, good seeing you.
See ya.
Hey, leave that box.
I actually need help carrying.
You see you Thursday.
Yeah, thanks.
Just get a picture.
All right, I would like to call the new board to order. And our first order of business is asking for nominations for,
I'm Ryan. Nice to meet you.
yes, let's
Easy to
welcome
remember.
Ryan. And I'm looking for a nomination or nominations for board president. Let's start with that.
I nominate Lindsay Spencer for board president.
Second.
Any discussion? Any additional nominations?
Vice President, or just say
All right, all those in favor for Lindsay Spencer as board president, say aye.
Aye. Thank you, Lindsay.
I'll make a motion to nominate Jamie Allen as Vice President.
Second.
Discussion? Any additional nominations for VP? None being heard, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, now you take over again.
Then we need secretary.
Treasurer first.
I nominate Keith Susser for treasurer.
Second. Thanks.
Any discussion?
Quick. Yeah. He can have the job. He can do both if they don't want me.
All right, any other nominations for treasurer? All right, Susser for treasurer, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great, that's approved. And then nomination for secretary.
I nominate Carrie Trostle for secretary.
Second.
Any additional nominations for secretary? All right, Carrie Trostle for secretary, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Thank you, Carrie.
All right, and then selection for our delegates for MSBA. I nominate Keith Ravenberg to be our MSBA delegate.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we need an alternate to MSBA. Is anyone really excited about, I think you do this
I'll
every
take
year.
it again.
I know.
I've worked once a lot.
I nominate, Jamie for alternate to MSBA.
Second.
Thanks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then a delegate for special school district.
Ryan, I nominate you. Mr. Flynn.
Second.
All right, any other nominations for SST delegate? All right, all in favor for Ryan?
Aye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ryan.
Okay, welcome to the board, Ryan Watson. Now we have two Ryans and two Keiths.
Yes.
Man, who saw that coming?
Right.
All right, we're very glad you're here.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll jump in. So if I could have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as outlined.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That moves us into our superintendent's report.
All right, we'll start tonight. Matt Norrid has one of our regular updates to the 10-year financial projections for the district.
Give me 1 second, we'll get the slideshow started.
You have a clicker, Matt, or do you need us to?
great.
These are here.
Thank you all for the opportunity to speak about financial projections. I know everyone's excited, that's my joke every single year, everybody's super excited to know about the financial forecast. So we have provided to you all preliminary summary of our 5 and 10 year projections. What we're going to go through right now is just kind of like where some of those figures come from, where our data comes from as far as the annual Secretary Board report. And
Is there something I can
Can
do
you
over
click
here?
it?
I don't know if it's line is there.
I have a USB thing in there.
Sorry.
You want me to
Technical
Shake it.
blow on it?
It really is like shaking.
Oh, it's not the USB's not in?
Can't get a picture of it.
Okay.
I think Ryan, we're have to go old school. We have to
Yeah.
page
Yeah,
out.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Thank you.
Just give me the cue.
I will do that.
Just fast forward to the end.
Is it an app? No.
Sorry, I'm an accountant. I'm not a computer
We won't hold it
technician.
against you.
I appreciate it. Just a couple items I want to go over the assumptions that we use when we prepare our projections. We are in a reassessment, or we are coming into a reassessment year. So currently, we are assuming 1.5% growth in assessed valuations. Non-binding tax rates and preliminary assessed valuations have been released, but we are questioning some of those or clarifying some of those items with the assessor's office. We are still assuming the release of the TIF for Meridian and a revised collection rate of 95% to align with our historical information on our levy. We're assuming our entire amount of debt service of 89 cents, and we are assuming 3.5% increases in salaries, and now that's overall cost of our salaries in our budget, and 5% growth in our benefits. That is our current factor that's been provided by our consultants, so we are aligning to that number. Capital projects is in accordance with the 5-year plan provided by the Facilities Department, and also the funding of our current projects. And then finally, the amount that is associated with our amortization schedule for our debt service. Our next slide is the historical data of our assessed valuation less our TIF. You'll see the consistent growth in those line items. This is in accordance with the December data that comes from the St. Louis County Assessor's Office. This is a pie chart of the total revenues that we receive. This includes all of our funds. So you notice that 79% of our collections are based on local. That's the amount reported as local taxes, Prop C, and other local. There is a portion, 13%, which I'm drawing attention to that, which represents the sale of this property. It is a sizable amount in this report. This is based on what data we report and was audited to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. Next, please. We also want to report the amount that we allocate for salaries and benefits. So 89%, which is the amount of the benefits and the salaries, is what the district provides toward, 88% is what the district provides towards resources for salaries and benefits. This is our operating fund, so this represents Fund 1 and 2, which is our general fund, and our teacher's fund. So it's excluding debt service and facilities. Next slide, please. Total expenditures, this is our total expenditures overall. This is the amount that we are allocating towards salaries, benefits, supplies, and facilities. You'll notice that we are allocating currently 42% to our overall costs of facilities. So this does include our bond projects and our current facilities capital projects obligations and our general obligation debt. Our operating expenditures, I'm sorry I misspoke on the last slide. Salaries and benefits are 78%. On this slide, that was 2 previously. I misspoke. Those were the local revenues that were allocated. Can we go back 2 slides? I'm sorry, if I can, I'd like to clarify that. This is total revenue. So with our total revenue, we tend to draw attention to this slide because we receive a significant portion of our funding from local effort. So this is, the next slide, please. Operating revenue is what I want to draw attention to because this is the amount that we receive 88% of our funding from our local revenue. And this is just for operations, so this excludes any kind of funding for debt service, and this excludes any sort of funding from outside resources like anomalies like the sale of a property. Thank you for drawing back to this item. I know that I would be, it says revenues, not expenditures, so if we can move forward. This is the item that we discussed previously for total operating expenditures. So when we look at operating expenditures, 78% of our total salaries and benefits, of our expenditures and operations are allocated towards salaries and benefits. The reason why I draw attention to this is a significant amount that is invested in our community, or by our community for our staff and our human capital. Next slide, please. For historical purposes, you can see, I'd like to draw attention to, we are continuing to spend down our resources. So we'll see our fund balance percentages here. Fund balance percentage is our total expenditures divided by, our reserves divided by our total expenditures. We are strategically spending down reserves. We are keeping this communication open, and we are continuously adjusting and modifying our projections in accordance with this to make sure that we have a clear understanding that we are attempting to meet our 2028 request from our community. So we're attempting to continue to use these resources to fund our capital projects and fund our staff and our teaching classrooms. Next slide, please. This is our current budget. So with the end of the current year, if our current budget is spent entirely and our revenues are received, we're anticipating ending the year at 53% fund balance. There is an amount that is here being reported in the levy as a recoupment. So we are still reporting that amount entirely, and we are showing a modest amount of assessed valuation increase here. The amount that we showed in our last budget amendment is being released, so our collaborative school amount would have been a significantly larger amount on the previous slide. The amount representing $20,000 is what we have currently in reserves towards scholarship programs. Next slide, please. So with our stated assumptions, this is how we're anticipating the spend down of our reserves. And you'll notice that there is a consistent spend down of reserves. We're reporting a 0.5% increase in assessed valuation for a non-reassessment year, and we are assuming a 1.5% increase in assessed valuation in a reassessment year. We understand that the market right now is moving a lot more aggressively than what are typical years. We're assuming based on the information from the assessor's office that the assumption is that will cool down in years going forward. We rely on the assessor's office for the best information that's at hand. You'll also notice that the levy, we are allocating funds from capital projects over into operations as we can. That's the reason why this number continues to grow. And then you'll notice this is the representation of the assessed valuations as those are growing for assessment and non-reassessment years. Next slide, please. As we stated previously, we are targeting the 28-29 year, this is where we were looking at a 30% fund balance. Based upon our most recent budget adjustment and our acknowledgement of some of the attrition that is occurring in the coming year and the proposed modification to our lease, that is our next item, we are reporting this, we are assuming 29.4%. The previously reported amount from February was 29% fund balance. We will continue to update this as we have better information. The remaining 10-year portions is reported more for information purposes, so you'll see the strategic spend down of these reserves into the negative. The negative amount is just representative if we don't receive additional resources at that time. Next slide, please. Capital projects budgets. So this is this is capital projects and our bond fund. funds. So both of those amounts are blended into these amounts as reported. In this report, we are continuing to report 28 cents, which produces about $1 million of revenues into the capital projects fund. The difference here is we are showing state assessed railroads and utilities in the revenue amounts, and we are also showing amounts from our continued growth, our unanticipated growth in our interest revenue. Next slide, please. Again, let me draw attention. You'll see that the levy that we were allocating over to capital projects continues to dwindle until we get to 42 cents. That 42 cents has been modified slightly in order to avoid in year 6 capital projects fund going red. So the assumption in this model is that our reserves will deplete in year 6 in accordance with previous models. The model reported in February would have had capital projects in year 6 in a deficit balance. Next slide, please. And this is where you can see that. So we are landing at 147. This is if we totally spend in accordance with our current projections. And this is also relatively conservative for the purposes of interest income. And then you'll see these amounts go into the deficit amounts after that time period. Are there any questions? This is an information item. This is not an action item. We report this multiple times throughout the year to both our finance committee and the Board of Education on request.
The McGrath and Mark Twain projects, are you tracking that in a separate fund?
So
Or like not sure, I mean, I guess, because I'm looking at the expenditures in the capital fund and it's nowhere near what I would assume.
They're included in they're actually included in this program. They're going to be completely exhausted, and our anticipation in this modeling is to include that spend down during the next 2 years.
It's just like the capital one, if you go back like 2 slides, I guess. Like, I mean, this one only says like expenditures of 1.3, and then the next one for, if you go to the next slide. Like it, yeah, I mean, it says only showing expenditure, okay, there's the 21 million. That's operation, sorry, can you go forward to? Yeah. Like, so this is only showing.
We can confirm those amounts and come back to the school board to ensure that those amounts are being reported accurately.
I trust the fund balances, I just, you know.
I want to confirm in this, so that I'm not speaking out of turn, is that this isn't just solely capital projects.
Okay.
In the report, because we track the bond fund separate from Fund 4. In the original slides and the pie charts, we blended those together. In this report, I want to confirm that this isn't solely Fund 4, and excluding the bond fund. So I'm sorry that I didn't get that off the top of my head.
Yeah, we can confirm that, but point being the fund balances.
Yeah, I don't take any issue, I believe the fund balance is right, I'm just sitting there looking and saying, you know, we're just kind of ignoring the, you know.
We are tracking our bond reserves separately from our capital projects funds. So the resources that we are tracking for fund balances in Fund 4, we have a fund called 42, which is representative of only our bond reserves. And we have to keep those funds completely segregated.
I guess, would it be possible for the board to get a report that shows like the capital fund and the bond fund and how we're kind of making sure it works over funding the Mark Twain project
Yes.
to completion? Just kind of a 2-sided.
Absolutely. And we can either update this report and report out, or we have a separate document that actually feeds into this.
I mean, for me, it doesn't have to be like back of a napkin, just something that says this is what's happening. That would be great.
What is the ideal operating fund balance that they recommend a school district to stay within?
Stay above 30.
So
above 30.
For our purposes, we don't want to pursue short-term borrowing. So for our purposes, we're targeting 30% as our ideal fund balance reserve in order to trigger our ask from our community.
Can you go back one more, just like see?
And the only thing that's going to differ on that is the scale, you know, difference between a $20 million budget and a $300 million budget. Well, that larger budget, they might be okay at, you know,
For our
20%,
purposes,
for instance, but
we require a larger fund balance than, let's say, Fox School District. Fox School District can operate with a 16% fund balance because they're 50% leveraged by state aid. They receive a consistent dollar amount every single month from the state of Missouri, so they can coast. For our purposes, we receive a significant amount of money. And that's the reason why I draw attention to that from our local effort. So that levy requires us, and we've already received the majority of those funds. So we received those significantly in January and February, where we have our release of protested funds that came out this month. Once we receive those dollars, we're living off of that until we get to December when we start our next levy collection cycle.
So it's all cash flow? So the the calculation for the 30% means the tail end of the year, we could not float the cash and you'd have to go get short-term debt to do that. Short-term debt is an expense that we've said as a board, we should not be taking out debt to go cover operations. So 30% for us is, again, if you go back to the slide that shows the percentage of revenue, that's why is almost 80-some% is local tax. And as we said, that's all collected by, cash hits us by January, February, and then we have to go all the way through to the following January, February.
And then if we took out the building sale out of there, that 80% isn't even close to being the, I mean, like, this is an odd year where those funds, you know, like, do you happen to have the math of, you know, like, if we took the building sale off, what our local revenues were?
I can absolutely report
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I'm just, I mean,
That's
I
why
can,
that
yeah.
second slide is
Yes.
more relevant because that is more indicative. That first revenue slide with the big piece on
Yeah.
that is.
I'm saying, because we're in the 90s,
Correct.
normally
Historic.
local.
Yeah,
We're
historically,
90+%.
we've been in the low
Yeah.
90s.
And that's important for everyone to know, is that the 80 is low this year.
But that's why I think this capital thing is important, right? Because where the sale of the building goes, what our capital fund looks like in the bond fund, I think the schedule you asked for, Keith, was exactly right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
All right, while you're up there, let's talk about, Matt has been working with Hoffman Brothers for
On the air
lease
conditioning?
modification.
We actually have to pay for air conditioning. because
He's
of
a
that.
part-time HVAC, talented.
Get some help.
Love those training meetings.
Well, do we have anything in that program that's learning it? Maybe they can work on our AC. The Catalyst program, do an AC repair.
So what I do have before you this evening is an action item for the request of the recommendation for modification to our lease between the 1201 Hanley Industrial Park property and Hoffman Brothers. Currently, our lease has an option with ECC moving to the new McGrath ECC site. We have an option to reduce our lease from $25,000 to $15,000. The option and proposal from Hoffman is to move from $15,000 to $16,550. The distinction between the two is that currently under the $15,000, we would be responsible for a pro rata amount of the utilities, the trash removal, the lawn care, and the snow removal. The $16,550 is all inclusive. So we would not be responsible for the upkeep of the HVAC system, which we are not currently. So it would not modify our lease. So we would still retain the rights that we would not be responsible to roof and HVAC repairs, but it would, the $16,000 would include all upkeep to the facility. Our responsibility would be something catastrophic and responsibility of a custodian. We have performed an assessment of our previous spend of our utilities to make sure that this amount is appropriate and is cost neutral. The numbers that were provided by Hoffman Brothers as the $16,550 are indicative of last year's costs associated with our utilities.
So just a reminder that, as you know, ECC is due out of this building July 1, and then the CO will move over January out of this building.
So the terms of lease are still through January 31st, 2024. We're just modifying.
This will not modify our intended time frame to vacate this space. We have currently the option to renew with 6 months' notice, but that would be an actionable item. Our current proposal is not to extend that lease, and that action already existed. It's just this amendment codifies the responsibility of 6 months' notice. So if we don't give notice, we need to be out.
If I could get a motion.
I move that we approve the amendment to the existing lease as outlined.
Second?
Discussion?
So just so I'm clear, the terms of our current lease, we're not modifying, and that lease, the effective end date right now is January 31st, 2024.
Yes.
We're not changing that.
Correct.
We still have the right within 6 months, which is coming up, to say, hey, we want to extend that. So we have time if whatever happens, happens. All we are doing here now is modifying our rent based on ECC moving come July 1st, and then fixing in the utilities so that we're not responsible for those.
So to be clear, the real modification here is moving us from our responsibility to pay our own utilities to Hoffman paying them on our behalf. We still had the option previously to have a rent adjustment based on ECC vacating the space.
Okay. So the only thing we are voting on now is the rent, including utilities.
Yes.
Got it.
So they're gonna switch the utilities over to their names on July 1 then?
Yes.
And we're paying the actual utilities, or you said it
This
was?
is an estimated basis, which is based upon the last year of utility consumption.
But that is for this entire facility, right? We're cutting out the ECC and just keeping a portion, so is that been calculated
Yes.
as well?
So this is a pro rata basis based
Okay.
upon square footage.
Based on square footage, okay.
Any other questions for Matt?
If we wanted to get out earlier, could we? Or are we set in stone?
So the earliest date that we can vacate this space, could we leave early? Yes, we would still be responsible for the lease payment.
And we have nowhere to go.
And we have nowhere to go.
Until January.
Until January.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a plan.
And then you will.
Yep.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, that's approved. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Turn off the slide. I'm sorry, I went to close. So all it is upcoming events.
Okay. All right, that moves us into our Board of Education update. Are there any MSBA updates, Keith?
No, nothing in particular.
Okay. SSD, Ryan?
No updates?
Any updates on our committees, communication, curriculum?
Communication, we have our meeting on April 27th.
Curriculum, we have our meeting on the 20th.
Okay, so coming up. All right, great. And then just some updated events. I know there's a school celebration May 1st. I'm remembering my computer's not working very well. So
Yeah, there's end of the
thank
year
you.
recognition, May 1st. And then there's Missouri Ethics Commission's annual filing due. And then it has our board policy, business, and then summer summit.
Okay. I know, Kate, you wanted us to RSVP for the end of the year recognition ceremony.
Yes, if you'd like to come, you can let me know by Monday.
Okay.
I'll plan to come.
By this Monday?
Yeah, this coming.
Okay.
Where is it gonna be at?
Ferrados.
Ferrados.
Okay, great. If I could get a motion to move to adjourn to move to closed session.
I move that we adjourn and move into closed session for the reasons identified.
Second?
If we could have roll call, please, Kate.
Jamie Allen?
Yes.
Brian Dodson?
Yes.
Brian Quinn?
Yes.
Keith Reichendorf?
Yes.
Keith Slaughter?
Yes.
Wendy Spencer?
Yes.
Carrie Johnson?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.